everyone, and welcome to the Week 7 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start at StubHub Center, where we had a 4th-minute penalty between Chivas and Seattle, and it's pretty cut and dry. You see here how Chivas winger Leandro Barrera beats the Sounders' Ozzy Alonso to the ball, and referee Ismael Elfat has no choice but to call the penalty. Eric El Cubo Toro steps up and takes full advantage for a 6th goal of the year. Now, fast forward to the 27th minute, and the Sounders may have had a case for a penalty of their own. You see here how Carlos Bocanegra extends his arm into Sounders forward Obafemi Martins. Some may call that contact soft, but he threw Martins off balance with an arm from behind. Looked like a PK to me. On the other end of the field, Chivas USA thought they had scored a goal just before halftime, but the referee called it off for a foul by Torres on goalkeeper Stefan Frei. I agree with the call. There's a foul here, and it's because of the studs-up entry by Torres. Oh, I would have stopped play all right and issued a red card to Kubo for endangering the safety of his opponent. Chivas did eventually get a red card, the straight red to Marky Delgado in the 73rd minute. The play happens right in front of the referee, who sees Delgado going in with a high leg and studs showing on Gonzalo Pineda. Now, does Delgado make full-on contact? No, but the fact remains that this is also a tackle that endangers the safety of an opponent. We've seen plays like these go unpunished at times during the season. Not here. The red card is justified in my opinion. I thought there could have been a red card in Frisco too, where FC Dallas midfielder Hendry Thomas delivered this kick into Julio Cesar's midsection when the goalkeeper had complete control of the ball. That late kick is violent conduct in my book and grounds for an ejection. Later in the game, I thought Toronto should have had a penalty kick. You see here how Kellen Acosta pushes Gilberto in the box with his left arm. Referee Jorge Gonzalez doesn't call it, and Toronto coach Ryan Nelson can't believe it. From Toyota Stadium to Toyota Park, where we start with the opening Chicago Fire goal. Is Quincy Amarikwa offside on the through ball by Harry Shipp? I think he looks even, and either way, it's so close, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the attacker. Great call by assistant referee Kermit Quisenberry. But in the 30th minute, the Fire gave the lead right back, and it's Patrick Nyarko tracking back in an attempt to contain Revs left back Kevin Alston, who was bombing forward all game. Nyarko nicks Alston's right leg, no doubt about this one, and Lee Win steps up to tie the game. The Fire wanted a penalty kick of their own in the 34th minute when Amarikwa went down in the box. Revs defender Darius Barnes completely whiffs on the ball, and in my opinion, there's contact. But instead, referee Soren Stoica gives Amarikwa a yellow for simulation. That yellow was costly because in the 73rd minute, Amarikwa goes in with the high leg on Andy Dorman, and the referee shows him a second yellow and gives him his marching orders. After the game, Amarikwa says it was a, quote, very, very soft foul and that he hopes to get it overturned. I don't think that's going to happen. To me, he's lucky not to get a straight red. I compare it with the play that got Delgado his straight red card. It's not whether you make full-on contact, it's whether your tackle endangers the safety of your opponent, and that one did. But even with a man down, the Fire had a chance to win it. That's because they earned a penalty in the 90th minute after Alston's handball prevented this shot by Victor Pineda from going in. You see how Alston raises his left arm to deflect the shot, and that's denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, an obvious red card. But Chicago's Juan Luis Alangono and then Jeff Lorenowitz on the rebound just couldn't find a way to score. Moving to Salt Lake, where we had a relatively clean match between the Timbers and RSL. Only one play to look at here in the 33rd minute, and the Timbers got lucky as Footy Danso brings down Olmes Garcia just outside the area. This was real close, but that's where the Timbers' luck ended. They lose the game 1-0. There was also not much controversy in Kansas City, where Sporting romped to a 4-0 win over Montreal. Defender Aurelien Calan scored a goal for Sporting Kansas City, and he also wanted a penalty kick in the 53rd minute. But we don't have another look. We can't say for sure. Here's one that's crystal clear. The simulation by Kekuta Mane at the hour mark of the Galaxy versus Whitecaps match. Even Omar Gonzalez was calling for a card, which never came. We'll see if the disciplinary committee comes down on the youngster for that one. Mana didn't get a yellow for simulation, but Dominic Oduro did in Columbus in the 18th minute, and it's the right call. DC defender Christian Fernandez really doesn't do anything to make Oduro hit the deck like that. Oduro was also involved in a potential crew penalty kick shot for a handball just before halftime. Some will argue that DC defender Jeff Park had no time to react given how close he was to the ball, but you can see him bracing his right arm as if he was expecting the contact, and it worked. But the most controversial plays in this game came in the second half. You see here in the 71st minute how Giancarlo Gonzalez fouls Eddie Johnson breaking in on goal. Referee Juan Guzman decides to only issue a yellow. To me, there's no question this is denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. I thought Gonzalez should have been sent off. Guzman made the right call on the Bernardo Honor red card for this two-footed lunge in the 81st minute. And if you had any doubts about the merits of this red card, just take a look at this tweet, which has a photo of the challenge. Plenty of red card debate in Colorado. First, in the 57th minute, you see how Alan Gordon goes out of his way to deliver a blow to Rapids defender Shane O'Neill. But it wasn't whistled by referee Edvin Jurasevich. The Rapids bench was incensed at the no call, and one of the Colorado assistants was later dismissed from the field. This has disciplinary committee written all over it. And then there was the red card to Quake substitute Adam John, who had only been in the game for 3 minutes before he earns himself an ejection on this collision with Jared Watts. And what makes this play even more interesting is that the fourth official, Tyler Ploger, is the one who apparently signals it. Look, the late recklessness of the challenge is yellow card worthy. I think what takes it over the top and qualifies it for the red is the excessive force. I think Jurasevich handled it well. Next to PPL Park, where we saw 2 questionable penalty kick no calls early in the second half. First, on one end of the field, it looked to me like Kofi Sarkodie has an arm hooked into Leo Fernandez, who falls in the box. I would not have had a problem with that one being called, but the ref said play on. Then, a minute later, you see Shannon Williams take down Giles Barnes in the box. That looked like a no-brainer to me, but referee Armando Villarreal doesn't call it. But the big decision in this one was the second yellow card to Kofi Sarkodie for time wasting on a throw-in. And while we're waiting on Sarkodie, we'll show you 3 questionable elbows to the head from this weekend. First, you have Edson Buttle on Victor Bernardes. Then there's Connor Casey on David Horst. And lastly, there's Bernardo Honor on Sean Franklin. And by the way, here's Sarkodie getting his warning from the ref. To me, none of these rise to the level of being red card worthy, but back to Sarkodie, who still hasn't put the ball into play. Come on, that's over the top time wasting. Even his teammate, Oscar Bonia Garcia, has an issue with it. That's all we have for this week. For our editor, John Benton, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time.